Okay, people, we are back. Another edition of Under the Lens, the West Ham edition part two. Finally, I got my main guy, GVO Mike's in the building. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. It's been long overdue, but it's good to be on the channel for the first
Long
time.
overdue, man. Long overdue. Let's just get it started, man. We're in the building, Under the Lens. Like I say to most of my guests, it's your show on my platform. Very happy to have you over here finally, bro. So yeah, I normally start just with your first exposure to your club. You know, your some good memories, maybe some bad, or maybe bad to good. Might be a better way to go. And yeah, just your general first kind of experiences with West Ham.
Yeah, so like I always get the question of like why do I support West Ham? Of course, when people are new to my channel, it's because of my parents. Both of my parents support West Ham. Um, so my dad is from Dagenham, similar to area where I'm from. So his father was a West Ham fan as well, so it just got passed down through that side of the family. My
Mhm.
mum grew up in Bethnal Green. She was born in Kenya, Indian side of the family. Then they moved to Bethnal Green, so like part of my family support West Ham in that side as well. So it was kind of easy to bring me up as a West Ham fan. Really, I didn't have any choice. I always say this, but like people always ask, like, why do you support West Ham? I didn't have a choice, bro. I didn't have a choice. But like early memories, I would say I started even remembering like football properly when I was like 7 because I was always like um plopped around watching football games when my parents were watching them and stuff, but I wasn't like taking it in. I wasn't taking it in. But around like 2010, so I'm born in '03, so when I was 7, like around 2010, was when I started taking football like proper serious because I started going to games in the 10-11 season. Not a
Okay.
season ticket just yet, but that was also probably the worst West Ham season in the Premier League. So
Yeah.
it's not a great introduction at the same time. Avram Grant, Robert Green, and
Yeah,
goal.
yeah.
Gabby Don at the back and all that. Like, still had Scott Parker, still had a young Mark Noble, but still had Carlton Cole up front. But it
Mm.
was not a great season. It was the first season of the GSB era, man. And my first 3 games that I went to as a West Ham fan, we didn't win. We lost to Bolton, lost to Chelsea, drew to Blackburn, so all at home,
Right.
all at Upton Park, and as much as that Upton Park is still a fantastic stadium, it's not that we were like a terrific team there or anything. It's just a
Right.
case of like it was our home.
Yeah,
So that was
tradition.
like the first like few games, and then I got a season ticket like from then because we got relegated that season. We came 20th, but it
Jesus.
made me bad memories to start off with. But I just loved going. I
Yeah, of
just loved
course.
going at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. As you said, man, could be that's it. Sometimes it's just the bug in it. And like I said, on my side of the family, like the missus, her family, they're all season ticket holders at QPR. So I've been there loads of times. So it's just like a whole different environment. It's more kind of for the love of the game. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you've directly fell in love with is what brings you back. So yeah, that's crazy, man. I still remember Avram Grant, you know what I mean? Sharing my age a little bit. So obviously I'm an Arsenal fan. You support West Ham. I'm not into your kind of current news where your clubs
Mm,
may be at currently. It's only you
yeah.
might look at them when you're kind of getting ready to play them a little bit. So, you know, from a West Ham's point of view, like where's your club at? You know, what's the goals? What you kind of looking to achieve?
Our club's in turmoil. If I'm being 100% honest, man, our club's like in a bit of a mess. Like the
Oh,
thing is, we're always like the kind of notion when it comes to West Ham United is the history of always being nearly there,
mm,
rather than like always having hope and never capitalizing on that hope that we've actually like tried to build up, sort of thing. And that's kind of what it's been this season, where you have a good transfer window, but look who's managing the club, and
mm,
then in reality, when you're changing to a whole completely new style with another manager, those players aren't actually that good because they are a whole new different style to the
mm,
previous manager we just had. So we're in a phase of like we're just trying to get to the end of the season. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm just trying to get to the end of the season because I knew we weren't going to get relegated,
yeah,
and I pretty much said when Potter came in, like I'm not expecting anything because I know what this squad is like. I said we needed better midfielders, and
mm,
then as we've seen in every game we're in, we get outdone in the midfield by literally every team because they're that incompetent with the ball and without the ball. Like it's very alarming in itself when it comes to that. And
right,
for me, we're in a case of just get to the end of the season and we'll see what the next manager can get. But we've always had this where we either have a good manager or a poor squad, a good squad and a poor manager, or we always buy someone we never build around them and
right,
so and so. Like that's kind of what West Ham is. We buy someone good and we don't have a plan for them. Like, or we have a good manager, we don't have a plan for them because of how terrible the ownership is. There's no structure there, and that's going to carry on for as long as they're here, unfortunately. But that's kind of where we're at.
Right. I mean, when I hear it, it just sounds similar to what's going on at Arsenal. Obviously, everyone's got their own perception of what's going on, but when I do listen to other fans, a lot of the core issues are the same. The ownership, do you know what I mean? Like, failing to take opportunities when they have them, things like that. What do you think of the new stadium? Have you been there much? Did you go a lot? You must have gone a lot to the old stadium. What's the difference between the stadiums?
Yeah, so from that 10-11 season, like, because we got relegated to the Championship, my dad was like, we'll just get a season ticket because they're cheaper. Obviously, we're in the Championship, so it's going to be cheaper season tickets. So in Upton Park, I went from basically the Championship season in 11-12 to the end of Upton Park in 15-16, essentially. Wow. So I went every season, and behind the goal on one end and behind the goal on another end, basically. Wow. So I got to see both ends, basically. So I was at the last game at the Upton Park when we beat Manchester United. And obviously, it was upsetting to leave. It was upsetting to leave because that's our home. Yeah. That's our home. It's a proper stadium. But when you're promised so much from our ownership, basically our ownership is basically, I know you can relate as well to this. Like, our ownership was basically like, we're going to try and move to the next level, try and compete, like, and all that. And no, what they just do too much talking in the media. And that's when the fans like properly turned on the owners, like in the London Stadium, because I don't think they were liked anyway. But it's a case of, cool, we'll give you a chance, sort of thing. Like, West Ham fans were being fair. But they didn't like them, but they were just being fair. Yeah. And then when we moved to a new stadium, we were promised nothing. What we got that was promised, we got nothing. Like, when we moved to London Stadium, we were promised like a big name striker and all of that, and we were linked with Lacazette. We were linked with Martinez from Atleti, I think. I can't remember who else we were linked with, but we were linked with Carlos Bacca, meant to have a medical at the time as well. And yeah, we're still waiting on that medical. He's like 40 now. And that's 2016. And we ended up getting Simone Zaza, the guy who missed the penalty at the Euros literally a couple months before he moved to us, scored against us in pre-season for Juventus, and then a week later moved to our club and did nothing. I don't think he even scored a goal. He moved on loan. We've got him and Jonathan Calleri as our strikers. Calleri is, don't know where he is now. I think he's at like Las Palmas or some shit. Like there's some nonsense like that. Yeah. But that was a terrible transfer window for your first move to the London Stadium. And ever since then, it's just been terrible. Like, I went to the first season at the London Stadium. I was like, okay, this is getting a bit long because I'm still in school at this point. I think I'm in year 9 by the time we're in the first season at London Stadium. Right. So at times I'm going to midweek games because of Carabao Cup or the Premier League or whatever. And I'm like, I could not be bothered to go to West Ham games after school to this stadium compared to what I used to see. And what I'm seeing on the pitch is not worth staying in the stadium for. Right. So I was like to my parents, like, I'm not going anymore. I'm not going. And so they didn't even want to go either. So I went to only one game in 17-18. And then I didn't go until fans came back in lockdown. Right. And that's when we started getting a season ticket again. The season ticket decision was just a last minute thing as well. My dad was like, should we just get a season ticket? There's like a few seats left. Right. And then I've had a season ticket since that 21-22 season. Okay. But it's not been worth it, don't get me wrong. As much as I'm renewing, I'm kind of just going for the sake of getting out of my house sort of thing. I'd rather just get out of my house. But and honestly, and it's probably not a good thing because I could probably just sit home and do watch-alongs every game and probably grow off that. But at the same time, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe next year's my last season. I don't know. But my dad was like, "Oh, do you want to renew?" And I'm like, "Go on then." But the joy is the stadium. No one talks about the stadium when we're doing well because we're doing well. Yeah. But no one's going to talk about the stadium when we're doing well because that's what we were promised. But the reason why I talk about like expectation so much is because we were promised that from the start of moving here. We had a chance under Moyes to keep that up. And as much as I wanted the guy to go, I was expecting a better appointment and a better direction. We didn't do that. It wasn't like, oh, ninth ain't good enough or anything like that. It was a false position at the time because of how bad everyone was doing around us. But also, I saw this slip regardless of what manager we had. Not necessarily 17th, but the bottom half of the table, survivor relegation, etc. But people would have accepted 13th under the previous manager because he won a trophy. But that's a sentiment thing from other fans. I don't care about sentiment. But that's the thing. Like, you're going to the stadium now, and it's gone back to being toxic like it always has been because the fans aren't happy, and rightly so. Like the ticket prices are up. Like we had to like protest about concessions every game. You're paying for stuff in the stadium. It's expensive.
Yeah.
You're doing the whole weekend about it. And what you're seeing on the pitch is just nonsense. We just drew to Southampton for God's sakes. Like it's not on. It's not on. But
Yeah.
that kind of sums up the London Stadium. Like you can't create an atmosphere there. The best games when we created an atmosphere was Sevilla at home in the Europa League and Lyon at home and Frankfurt at home and even in the Conference League against Alkmaar, etc. But you have to kind of like force the atmosphere. So when you hear the other side of the stadium making a chant, it's like you're hearing it 10 seconds afterwards.
Really?
Like that's what it's like. Like you can't like put it together, sort of thing. Like usually in a normal stadium, it's like the whole stadium's chanting one thing, but it's basically like a school choir when the second half of the second half in the line has got to chant the line 10 seconds after and stuff like that. Like that's what it's like. That's what it feels like when I'm in the stadium.
Yeah,
man.
Wow.
That's what it's like in the London Stadium, man.
I mean, I've done some work there for Philosophy Football. I was just saying to Tony, Hammers Football TV, because obviously, you know, we was having the chat literally just an hour ago. I think it looks quite nice in there. I mean, I've never been to Upton Park. That's why I thought, you know, what can I ask you different? That's why I thought I'd ask you about the two different vibes. I was saying to Tony, it looks like they got some sort of a beer garden thing in there. And I was like, oh, that looks quite nice. But then obviously I'm not going every week, am I? So in terms of the atmosphere, you know, the things you're saying, it sounds like the Emirates. You know, we were promised that same stuff. We're going to compete with Real. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And in the end, my club, just like your club, is like PRFC at the end of the bloody day. Cool. That was brilliant. Let me just bring up my next question here for you. So as I asked Tony, bro, if you had the magic wand, GVO Max, GVO FC, you get me? I've seen your streams. I like that. So we'll talk about that in a piece. But if you had a magic wand, my bro, 3 things that you do to kind of change the trajectory of your club, bro.
Get rid of the owners instantly. Get rid of the owners. I think everyone would say that in West Ham. I think that's one thing we unanimously can agree on is get rid of the owners. If there's anyone that disagrees with that, they're completely lost because these owners have been in for 15 years. And they've done nothing basically because people can't even say they're the reason why we won the trophy. Like we won the Conference League because we're blatantly the best team there. It's not difficult to win that.
You see what Chelsea are doing,
yeah, exactly. Let's see if they listen. If they lose that, then what? I don't know, man. I don't know how Aston Villa didn't win that last season, but it is what it is. I was still the only English team to win that. I still don't know how, but we are.
That's a round of applause.
Yeah.
That's a round of applause. You know, hold it, man. Hey, chest. You know what I mean? More European heritage than my team, bro. What are we talking about? You know.
I'm glad you said that, not me, bro.
But yeah, man. All right. So that's the first thing you do. Owners.
Yeah, obviously, I guess part of that would be getting new owners in because again, like get Saudi owners. Like it's the easiest one. Shout out Hyper Protagonist every single time. I would get Saudi owners. Obviously, like money. That's what we need. We need money, but it's not just money. It's they actually like having a structure. Saudi owners. They don't just have money and throw it. They want a structure. Like when Newcastle are allowed to spend money and stuff, you're going to see that. When Man City, you're seeing that. So I don't care about off the pitch stuff, because every billionaire is corrupt. So who cares? I just want the richest one, bro. I want the richest corrupt person running my club. Every billionaire, every footballing owner is corrupt in their own right. They're corrupt with their own income. So who cares? I'm a football fan. I'm not a politician. I do not care about what's going on off the pitch in the most respectful way possible.
Big
the third thing, I would somehow I would just change our stadium into a footballing stadium. Like I would just build what our stadium is right now and just make it closer to the fans and paint. And one thing about the stadium, when you walk into the stadium, it doesn't look like a West Ham stadium. And when you walk into Upton Park, its seats are claret, everything. It's simple stuff like that. When you walk into Emirates, it's red. When you walk into Old Trafford, it's red. When you walk into Etihad, it's blue. You're walking into a stadium that represents that club well. So I'm painting the seats claret. I'm putting the things together. The allocation can stay the same. It can even stay in Stratford. Like the one positive about moving to the new stadium is that it's closer to where I live rather than Upton Park. That's the only thing that's positive, but more positive than that. Than Upton Park is easier to get to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would just put it closer to the fans, make it a proper footballing stadium. If you have new owners and then that, we would be fine. We would actually be a good serious club. And the thing is, it shouldn't have to take all of that. for
Mm,
me to say that, and for us to be doing all of that, where we have to be serious or whatever. Because Aston Villa don't need Saudi owners to be serious; they just have a good coach and a good squad.
mm,
Newcastle don't even need the owners to be serious; they have a good coach and a good squad, or a
mm.
decent squad for what their coach is doing. They don't even need to spend; they can't even spend. Like
Yeah,
it's quite simple as that. Like Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth have got great owners. They literally their stadium's the same size as my area. Like it's like legit. Like it's the same. It's the same. It's the same size as the Sainsbury's, but it don't matter because they've got Iraola.
yeah,
They've got Iraola. Like it's good coaching with a good squad because they've got a proper structure. Their owners are in line with their manager. So
wow.
yeah, new owners and a stadium basically.
Okay. And Tony was mentioning something about the seating and the fact that the seating's retracted. I mean, was that something that's kind of a big thing for you as well, wanting to be closer to the pitch?
Yeah, definitely because like that's why the atmosphere is so poor because everyone's so far away anyway. Like both if
Mm,
both sides of the stadium are so far away, you can't build a cohesive stadium, a cohesive atmosphere. You can't because
mm.
like what's the point? The only time we actually build an atmosphere is at the start when we're singing and that's it. And then it just goes quiet because people would look at that and think West Ham fans are bad. Like any away end for West Ham fans, we're loud. Any like time at Upton Park, as much as it's not been the best time, I'm not saying that atmosphere was terrific all the time, but when it was hitting, it was hitting.
Yeah.
We'll make it a mad atmosphere. We'll
Mm,
make it a mad atmosphere. Listen, that's an English problem in itself, but it wouldn't be
mm,
as bad as what it was if we were actually in a proper stadium. It wouldn't be
oh,
because
mm.
now everyone's there just to kind of just get through their 90 minutes. Most people are leaving early anyway. Most people are leaving like 15
Guys,
minutes
well,
before
yeah,
the game. And
yeah.
honestly, I don't blame them. Yeah, I
Same at
don't
the
blame
Emirates,
them.
bro. Same at the Emirates, man. And yeah, and obviously you and Tony are kind of mirroring the same thing. It's the same, you know, North London forever, then it goes dead. But sometimes it's down to the team to give you something to cheer about as well. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? So there is that aspect in that. Big up Hyper Protagonist, big up Geordie Dread in the building. We were just literally talking about Newcastle. Big yourself up. Big up Hyper. He says, big up Mr. Kerfuffle himself. There you go. So they're the three things you'd change about your club. Fair play. What's your kind of club's ambitions for next season? I mean, obviously you guys are safe. I mean, is there any, because I don't check for you guys transfer news, you know, any kind of thing to look forward to or any kind of plans that, you know, what's the steps going forward in the summer?
I'm more scared because our owners become director of football again, which is annoying because this is the thing. We've had directors of football over the past few windows, and because it's not necessarily worked out or whether like he's now taken over, he's like sick of the director of football role, so he's going to handle transfers himself, which has never worked because he used to handle transfers himself in the London Stadium era early on and the Upton Park era, and it did never worked. He was just signing players there, I don't think there's anything to look forward to as the West Ham fan. I'm just being real with it. If there was, I would say, but I generally think nothing's gonna happen. I think as long as we survive in the Premier League, these owners are happy, and that's kind of the problem. It's similar to like the big club owners, where like as long as they get Champions League, they're calm with it. With our owners, it's as long as we are still in the Premier League, that is legit it. And for me, that's kind of become a problem. We need a whole new squad if we actually want to take Graham Potter serious. We need a whole new midfield. We need depth in the defense, and we need attackers.
Mm,
We're gonna do-
mm,
we're not going to do that. Like we've done
mm,
rebuilds before, we don't settle the players in, and because usually we buy the wrong type of players, buy players that we don't need, and don't address the actual problems. But that seems to be the merry-go-round when it comes to West Ham, man. That seems to be the merry-go-round, and I feel like for as long as this owner is taking more control of the transfers and stuff like that, you better just hope that we're not going to get relegated next season. And this is the thing: if you sit in that stadium with the championship, I generally think this club will never ever come back. We're not the kind of
mm.
club to come back, yeah, because we've never won the championship. The only times we've been promoted is via the playoffs. We've been in the playoff final 3 times and won two of them and lost one, and that's kind of the problem. I think we'll end up like a Leeds Sunderland situation. It's not going to be like a I don't know like a Brentford where you come back and you stay in the Premier League.
Mm,
Like it's
mm,
not going to be like that. And
mm.
to be honest, there's not many teams that come back to the Premier League and stay like a Bournemouth and Fulham.
I was just gonna say that, you know what I mean? Because I mean, you know, I was watching who was it? Was it Damp? I was watching someone, and I think Joe was on there, you know, the Leeds fan, and he was saying, you know, they're prepared to go straight back down. So yeah, you know, the state of the club's coming up. it's kind of dire for them, innit? Do you know what I mean? As soon as they come up, you're kind of predicted to go down. Yeah, but that's fair play. All right, well, let's move on a little bit from West Ham and let's go on a little bit more about you, my friend. And let's talk about your channel, the kind of shows that you're doing, the kind of people that you have on, and what's your channel about, bro?
Well, yeah, I've had this channel since like 2021, but I've only started growing last year really because I didn't know anyone from the YouTube space. When I started this channel, it was a case of my friends don't watch football, so I didn't have anyone to talk football with. So I was like, I'll just do a YouTube channel about it and start waffling, like as simple as that. And then ever since then, I haven't looked back really. It's like developing my channel. I had to kind of figure everything out myself. I didn't really know how to stream or whatever until last year. I didn't know anything about these streaming sites that you can have on Chrome or whatever that you can do on your Mac. And I only just started that last year. And I hit 200 subscribers at the end of 2023. And then I was like, okay, I'm hitting basically 100 subscribers per year. So I was like, let me just target 500. And that's what I was saying at the start of last year. And then basically what happened was I got 500 in the summer because I basically was in the YouTube scene at this point. I'm networking with people. Like it's all because of people like Carefree Lewis and people like Flawless and people like that are boosting my channel because they're good people, you know. Like, and listen, I wouldn't be able to get to know any content creator if it wasn't for people like Jimmy Spliff TV and Strasbourg Steve and people like that. To be honest with you, because I just connected them with them through social media, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be in the scene or people wouldn't know who I am, sort of thing. I started doing like live streams regularly last year, like watch-alongs and stuff. It wasn't to West Ham games; it was to other games because I used to just watch West Ham with my mum and stuff like that. I really just started doing West Ham watch-alongs until the back end of last year because people wanted them. And also I was like, I'm going to have to take that risk of like not spending time with my family to watch West Ham games on my channel instead because people want them. And there's a great market for that there. They've done well, to be fair. Watch-alongs always do well, to be fair. With the shows that I do, my friend Alfie, first one, that's like my first regular show. Alfie is a guy I know from college. So we met through college in like 2019. But then stopped speaking for a bit, not even because of anything personal, just because of life. Lockdown happened. Like just wasn't speaking for a while. So like we started speaking again in like 2023, and then 2024 we started doing streams, and then I was just like, you should want to just do this regularly at the start of the season every Monday and stuff, and then started doing it from that. And then now we've got the GVO show every Monday. So like it was always good to get him on because we always used to talk football off camera. He's an Arsenal fan, West Ham fan. It just makes sense to have two different perspectives on the Premier League and stuff like that. And then he's opened up his channel because like he had other hobbies, they didn't work out, whatever. I was like, do you want to just do football YouTube and stuff like that? You can just be in the scene as well. Like it's calm. Like I'll just help you boost your channel and stuff. And he's doing well as well. Like I just wanted to do more regular shows, but I want to focus on uploads as well because those get the subs. Like I wanted to try to get to 1K. Those get the subs, and to get to do the streams as well. I just try and have a bit more fun. Like, I'm not trying to talk about West Ham all the time. I'm just trying to have a bit more fun. I'm just trying to let the streams go with the flow and stuff like that as well. And that's allowed me to collaborate with people like Melon, people like Prime. Like Melon, I met through Joey Wob Sports. Like I met Lewis through him as well. To be honest, a big up Joey every single time. Like I met Melon through him. Melon's actually local to me, and I only knew that because we were talking, like because of the areas are right next to each other. Yeah, that's mad. Like we met through YouTube, but we're local. It's mad. So now I'm good friends with him because I met up with him a few times due to that. And obviously he's on my channel a bit. Prime's on my channel quite a lot. Prime. Prime. Obviously, me and Prime mainly talked through Omar, but we had a lot of mutuals. So it only made sense to do a show. And ever since then, we've just been doing that every Wednesday. Like I'm just enjoying it, man. I'm just enjoying it. I'm trying to get to 1K. I'm just trying to
How far off are you now, man?
I'm on 870 something, so we're not far off.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm just trying to take the channel forward and trying to develop it because I've got so many plans, but it's like I want to build up my core audience first before I do anything mad. do
Sure.
anything bad. Like I'm
Yeah,
just
it's
having fun
hard.
with it, man.
It's hard out here. You know what I mean? It's hard. Like I said, everyone's on. It's you know what I mean. Even me, I felt like, oh, maybe I've chosen the wrong time to come and come and put my 2 pence in. But yeah, no, I've seen what you've been doing on your channels. I've seen some of the fan reactions. That's always funny. You know, I've seen you've had a couple of more viral videos where some rants have been going on. I think I saw one about Saka and Bowen. So I thought we might as well rehash that now. You know what I mean? We got the man himself on the
Yeah.
platform. So yeah, man. I mean, what was that? What was that about? What was your kind of main thoughts on it? Because I saw it quickly and I was, come up on the up next and the kids were here. It was going mad. I didn't watch the whole thing, but just give us a little recap on that video, my bro.
Yeah, do you know what it is? It's like I feel like Jared Bowen is like quite like not even underrated, just underrated, but like under-respected sort of thing. Like where people don't respect him enough because he's like a player that can't move basically because he's tied down to such a like massive contract where like he's not going to be linked to Liverpool or Newcastle all the time. Only like meaty links, not anything strong. But like before the contract, he was obviously linked with like Newcastle and Liverpool and stuff. Like that
Right.
seemed to make sense because they both needed right wingers and stuff like that. They still do, but I feel like because people talk about like an Mbeumo more, like from Brentford, or people talk about like a Wissa more because they're like a gettable sort of thing. They're gettable. They're on the transfer list. So when I'm talking about Bowen, I feel like I'm talking about one of the best right wingers in the league, but unfortunately he plays for West Ham. So like it is a case of where people don't give him credit because of the people around him. So he doesn't really get a chance to embrace himself. So I'm thinking if I'm comparing Bowen to like every right winger in the league, it's not even a disrespect to them. It's like, what can they do that Bowen can't? Because Bowen's always stepped up for us. If Bowen doesn't score for West Ham, nobody does. Like we
Right.
literally had to give the ball to Bowen against Southampton for us to score. Like even that's Southampton. Like he's the only one that rose against Southampton. That's what it says a lot. Like he rises in big games. He takes long
Got you
shots. He
winning against us.
finishes.
Mhm.
Yeah, he scores with both feet. Scores with his head. He can play up front. He can play on the right. Mainly a right winger though. He's definitely not a striker, but he can play there, fill in. Like he does everything, and I'm thinking it's not even a disrespect to Saka, but what can he do that Bowen can't? Like Saka's a big game player. I respect Saka.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think Saka's brilliant, and I
Mhm.
said that Arsenal actually rely on him too much.
Yeah,
I've
we
said it
do.
millions of times before. But what can he do that Bowen can't do? And like, I
Valid
haven't been able
question.
to get like a counter argument
Yeah, no,
because
it's a valid question. That's why I wanted to shine some light on it. You get me? Like I said, don't pull any punches, bro. Just because I
yeah, of
support
course.
Arsenal, this is your show. So, like I said, no, it's a valid question, and I think that happens a lot of time with certain players at certain clubs. But I didn't know that he was on like a death row contract, bro. Like, how long is that?
I think he's on like 6 years. I think he signed in 2023, and I think that was 7 years. So it's like six and a half
Mm,
now.
wow, it's almost like a prison sentence, isn't it? Like
Yeah, yeah,
Haaland and bloody Cole Palmer or whatnot. Wow,
yeah.
man. Wow, and yeah, so what's your kind of perceptions on Arsenal? I asked Tony the same thing. I always want to get what kind of an outsider view on my club is, and also for the Arsenal fans in the chat, it's always good for them to hear something refreshing. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah.
what's your
I
thoughts
think
on Arsenal?
for me, like I've always understood Arsenal fans when they complain. And like and when I mean that, I mean their criticisms of their club. Like when I go back to like the Wenger days, I understood why Arsenal fans would Wenger out. Like it
Mm,
was very basic. Like you want to win the league, you don't want to be in top four all the time. It's very simple. It's quite
mm,
simple as that. So it's sick of like you appreciate FA Cups. Nobody's not going to appreciate an FA Cup. It doesn't mean you can't celebrate on the day, but you
yeah.
want to like the whole point of you moving to the Emirates was to keep what you were doing. I can understand that even more from moving to a new stadium myself. Like there's a different scale, but like you guys had Thierry Henry and Bergkamp and stuff, so you want to keep that stuff up. Like once you taste success, you don't want to lose that. And
Mm,
a lot of like people my age and people younger than me probably don't understand that perspective from an Arsenal perspective. Like it's rare you get an Alfie that's my age and you'll have the same standards as
yeah,
someone that's like
yeah,
twice his age or whatever. Like
yeah.
it is what it is for me. So when Arteta came in, it felt like a big PR statement. Now he is a good coach to an extent, but it feels like when you get a young coach in, the whole point is to give them time, so it takes pressure off the owners. That it just makes a lot of sense for, and that's why everyone's doing it because
Yeah.
like owners are seeing what Arsenal are doing, and they're like, how can we take pressure off? Just get a young coach in. Like, because I'm thinking that it's not even just young English coaches, it's young coaches in general. That's why every young coach gets propped. Even
Mm,
like meaty young coaches will get propped. Like a Gary O'Neill, for example, he's meaty, but he's young, so who cares?
you get
Scott Parker's meaty, but he's young. Who cares? Like it's meaty young coaches that will get propped as well. But I think Arsenal have done well to an extent, but it would only make sense if Arteta was the guy to bring Arsenal back to title challenges, then say, you know what, my job here is done, sort of thing. Obviously, managers aren't going to be like that because they're stubborn. Every manager's stubborn, and they're not going to see it from an outside perspective because they are the manager.
Mhm.
So it makes sense why he wouldn't think like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm a proper footballing owner, I'm thinking he's brought us back to where this club should be by their minimum. The minimum you guys should be doing is title challenges. Not everyone can do it, but that's why we criticize certain clubs for doing that. Now, if you guys have got a trophy-winning manager after that, and to then take you guys over the line, if you guys sacked Arteta now and got whoever you want as a mad like top tier coach, you would be able to win leagues now. It's not a case of like even though I don't think your squad is like top tier or anything. There's a lot of intangibles there. There's Saliba, there's Gabriel, there's Saka. Then you
Mhm.
just build on that alone.
Yeah.
You build on
Yeah.
that alone. Get another centre mid, get a striker, whatever. Get a left back that can like help Lewis Skelly sort of thing. That give him that competition they need, someone experienced,
Yeah.
and then you'll be fine in my opinion. But it's a case of you, as much as you're doing well in the Champions League now, you've got a great chance of winning it after being Real Madrid. I think obviously winning that would be mental, but at the same time, like I feel like it's taken so long to get there. That's a case of that's the bare minimum now after being out of the title challenge in in this part of the season because people were like, if you guys were out of the Champions League, I guess people would be talking about it a lot more. But it's kind of worrying when you guys were second, then another team overtakes you, whilst
Yeah.
Man City have dropped off. Like you guys were meant to be the next one, but now it's a case of okay, you're still second. I understand. I would understand why more Arsenal fans would be frustrated, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's only a certain thing of
Yeah,
Arsenal fans.
it's
That are like, yeah,
very because that's
frustrated.
what the club's doing, bro. It's like they're building up the only way is Arsenal culture. Do you know what I'm saying? Reality shows when you go into the toilets, there's dietary plans on the wall. We've got a dog called something we can't do. You know, we've got a
Yeah,
manager who lands planes and does aerobics and plays music and squeezes lemons. You know, he does all this stuff. But
yeah,
as you said, a competent coach would get more out of this team, I believe. Do you know what I mean? So I think
facts.
for me personally, I mean, that's what I was trying to ask Tony as well from the outside in, because I'm always saying I think it's his system, I think it's this culture that we're building up. Anyone with any flair, any backbone gets hoisted, you know.
Yeah.
Is that easy to see from the outside in, bro?
Yes, but I don't think it's just an Arsenal problem. Like I think Arteta's a good coach in terms of you're a good top four coach. You're a good European coach. He's proven that he can do that in the Premier League. And to be fair, he is somewhat adaptable to an extent. But the stuff he wants to do is not suitable to a club of the size of Arsenal. But
Mm,
also, I think from a tactical perspective, like he's always been able to like somewhat organize his teams defensively and keep them in shape. But the problem is he's a product of why modern coaches are so bad. Because like we've talked about so many modern coaches and the way they train flair and technical ability out of the team where they don't allow players to have freedom anymore. And
mhm.
that's mainly down to which system-based approaches to now football. But like that's why I've talked about the wider problem of the clubs hiring younger coaches. Is the problem is they're hiring coaches that coached in people's academies, where their whole philosophy is to copy what the first team is. That's why everyone says you're copying Pep. Because
Yeah.
Enzo was there at City, Arteta was there at City. That it makes sense why they would copy Pep. They were there because they were either coaching the academy or they were part of the coaching staff.
Yeah.
So they're going to obviously do like an off-brand Pep or Pep Light sort of thing. And that's the thing with Arsenal is you do have a few players where I'm like, if you gave them a bit more freedom, it's a case of you could see a much better team. Like a Wanyeri needs to be the right in the sense of the number 10,
Yeah.
doing whatever the hell he wants to do.
Yeah.
But the problem is you guys don't even play at number 10. You guys play a lopsided formation. Like if you played like Rice and Partey in a pivot, like just a pivot, and just let Wanyeri do his thing, like that would
Mm,
be a legendary midfield. Like because
mm,
that would be so hard to beat off the ball as well. Rice
mhm.
is literally the best double pivot midfielder there is right now in the world. Like it's not close. Like
Right.
and he's the best ball winner there is in the world. So Like that's what I don't get about the. If there's another way where you can get more out of your players and you don't do it, like that's just your stubbornness getting in the way. That's what separates the elite from the non-elite.
Mhm.
Because people can say Pep's stubborn, but Pep will at least try to adjust his. Like he'll keep his philosophy, but just the way he does it every single team. That's why he wins stuff. Ancelotti will adapt to the team. Mourinho will adapt to the team, but
Right.
keep his philosophy. Like
Mm.
that's what the elites do.
Yeah.
That's what's going to separate. Like that's why I don't think many coaches that are new will be an elite coach or be an all-timer that we'll talk about in years to come. But Arteta's a product of that, unfortunately. I think it's very easy to see from the outside perspective. You just like watching football when you're watching an Arsenal game, that it's boring. But that's not the reason why Arsenal are shit because they're boring, or Arsenal are not title winners because they're boring.
Yeah.
It's just not effective. You could be
Mm.
boring but effective, but it's just not
Mm.
effective.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying to say. It's pretty easy to see. Even you're talking, a West Ham fan is talking about a double pivot, something that I say on this channel near enough every bloody day when I'm talking about Declan Rice. And we was having a laugh and joke about it. Totally, obviously talking about Decker's moving to get trophies. Why has he come to the Arsenal? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? But at the same time, you know, that's not even the big thing. I think it's like, you know, I say that this guy is the biggest single problem at my club. Because of things like that, you're trying to follow Pep so much. Like every season, you're not even tweaking, you're disrupting every season. As you said, we got a lopsided 10 playing on the right hand side. He just changes it up now. Declan's got to learn a role that he's not too comfortable in. It's just silly, you know, in my humble opinion. But it's always good to hear an outsider's view on Arsenal. Just because I want the other Arsenal people in the chat, playback gang, just to hear a fresh perspective on it. All right, so we're coming up to the 40-minute mark. So usually I do try and bring in some of the comments. Obviously, we haven't got too many. Hyper protagonist. Oh yeah, he was talking about Geordie Dread. He said I call Geordie Dread Mr. Kerfuffle because he once said fuckle on stream. I don't even know if I've said that right. Big up her Gary. Don't waste a tweet. Make sure you're going to subscribe to Broski. Make sure you're subscribing to Mike as well. Let's help him get to 1K. Playback gang as well, because I know some people watch it later on. Make sure you're going to subscribe, or make sure that the link is in the title and the description and all of that's good stuff. Big up Why Not? He's saying big up Views and Mike. Bigging up Gary and Geordie as well. And he's got a question here. He says, Mike, what do you want from West Ham? What should be the West Ham standard, i.e. mine for Arsenal is challenging top 4 and a trophy?
We need to be challenging for Europe year in, year out, and no breaks. Like if there's more than a 2-year break from that, then it's not acceptable. Because I wouldn't be expecting this stuff if we weren't in the London Stadium. Because people obviously, like when I started this channel was in 2021, so I started it when we were good. Like even before we were good, I was requesting this. I was requesting this stuff, like under Pellegrini and stuff, where our fans would naturally hype us to be in a top 6 and go for the Europa League for the first time in ages because of what our owners told us. But our owners promised us to hold us to the next level, so we're going to hold you to that. If we was in Upton Park, I don't think anybody would care. It would just be a piss up every weekend. Honestly, it would just be a piss up at Upton Park. I wouldn't like we're in the Premier League. We're calm, cool. Like I wouldn't care. This sort of thing. I'd be frustrated, but I wouldn't be as angry as what I am now. Every time I'm talking about West Ham and stuff, it needs to be in Europe, year in, year out, year in, year out. And I don't care what Europe. I don't care if it's Conference League. I would take a Conference League trophy every year. I do not care.
Bro, I was saying it, man. Like even Chelsea, if they win that cup, which they should, they must. If they don't, Jesus Christ. But you know, once they win that cup, they've had a better season than us, obviously, unless we win the champs. But that's more. I'm saying about you guys. I was saying to some other Arsenal fans privately, that's more European heritage than us. We got we got a cup winners' cup. I remember that 1994, just about. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, bro. It's absolutely crazy. But so. If you was an Arsenal fan, you'd probably be on my side of the fence, innit?
Definitely.
Yeah, most definitely. Does West Ham have tops and bottoms?
Oh, just bottoms. They're just like bottom tier brain cell people on Twitter. That's all we have. That's all we have.
So you haven't got the one side that are like, no, everything's gravy over here. Just listen to what the club is saying. You know, I call them the blind faith type. You know what I mean?
You have a few of them, but it's like it's a case of they will try it and then they'll come back to the other side when everything goes to madness. Because when we're 17th, there's no way you can ever even say everything's fine. It's a case of like we're different to every other fan base where we always argue, but it's always arguing about different things. It's like they'll always blame someone different for why it's bad. So they'll say it's in something different. If we blame a player, they'll say we're scapegoat.
Right.
If we say it's the manager, there'll be manager in, but it's this person's fault. That is kind of like that,
Right.
where everyone's negative because we're West Ham fans, but it's for different reasons every single time. Like we can never seem to agree on why the problem is, what the problem is,
Right.
barring the ownership. Everything below the ownership we disagree on
Right.
why it's so bad.
Right. Well, at least you got common ground then, because with the Arsenal people, the tops and the bottoms, there's no common ground. It's just all we're just gonna swallow whatever the club's throwing down, and then you've got the negative people who are asking for change. This is why we moved, that kind of thing. Otherwise, why rip down the stadium? They're just doing it to make money, obviously. Do you know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, that's the argument with us. I feel like it's just football fan bases. They're always going to find something to bloody argue about. But like I said, you guys are safe, so you've got that in the bag. And why not was asking about next year. Going forward with Graham Potter, obviously you've had him come in now instead of Lopetegui. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you was relatively happy when that happened. What's the climate like? Obviously, it's not even a banter. Like I'm trying to have a proper conversation. You know what I mean? What's the climate like with Potter, and do you think he's the main man to take you forward next season?
If I'm being honest, I liked the appointment because, like, another thing with our ownership is we only hire free agent appointments. No, we've never hired someone out of compensation because they're cheapskates. They're cheapskates. They'll throw money at a transfer window, no problem, but they will never hire a manager out of a compensation. They'll never find a manager out of the job or be ambitious like a Villa did with Emery when he got from Villarreal and stuff. They'll never ever do that. They'll never ever come to their senses. So the only like good free options when Lopetegui left was Conceição, Sarri, and Potter. And we've been linked with all three before. And even Potter or Sarri were the two ideal for me just because I know more about them than I do Conceição. I only watched Conceição games against you lot, to be fair, only the Porto games, and I liked what I saw, and I was like, fuck it, like just get him in because it's not Lopetegui. I'm not gonna take anyone I'm not gonna take anyone that's not Lopetegui, but at the same time, if those are the best options, like bring it. I think with Potter, I do like him, but I think a lot of people don't like him because our owners hired him. And what I mean by that is they weren't going to like anyone our owners hired because they're free. And to be honest, I do understand it, but at the same time, like, I feel like I'm more fair in saying that even if Potter was a success, I'm not going to give credit to our owners because, like, you only hired him because he's a free. You didn't hire him because he's a good manager. It's the same with David Moyes. Like, you hired him because he was here before and he was on a free. So him winning the trophy, that's credit to him, even though I wanted him out. That's credit to him. That's credit to the players. It's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you because you could just hide him because, like, one of you wanted him, one of you just didn't want him, whatever. I think with Potter, if he was given the tools, I would think he's generally the guy. I don't even like doing the whole patience thing. I'm not a patient guy. I've never have been. But at the same time, I'm just judging. I just judge everyone on the same things that I judge everyone on. Like with Lopetegui, I gave him a preseason. Now you've got to get it right. 5 games in, get out of my club. Because in preseason, the whole point is to show the outline and the intention of what you're trying to do. Like we did not see a single game 8 months in of what he was trying to do. It looked like a different West Ham week in, week out. With Moyes, I didn't want him in the first place when he came back. But he redeemed himself more than anything. Like it actually took me a very long time to be Moyes in the first place, to be honest with you. Like, but that's a whole other story. With Potter, I knew with this squad, with the complete change of styles to what Lopetegui was to Potter, with this squad in hand, in the middle of a January when he had one training session before a game when we hired him in the middle of a January transfer window. I'm like, this is the preseason. This is for me. What this is like, you need to see who's going to die at sea in your system, and whoever does die at sea, we need to let go so we can get your players in. And that's what we should be doing in the summer. But I don't know whether we are going to. I generally think we're in trouble if we don't invest. Generally, like, because our squad's useless as it is. We might look a bit better because he has his preseason, but I said as soon as he came in, we need better midfielders. If you look at Graham Potter when he had his midfielders at Brighton, it was Caicedo, it was Bissouma, it was McAllister, it was Lallana, Pascal Gross. Like, these are technicians and powerful players. Like, they've got power and I know Bissouma doesn't look the same. No, but Bissouma at Brighton, everyone wants
they were balling
every
out.
single club. Every single club wanted him. When Tottenham got him, it was like, how did they get him? Sort of thing. Like, then nobody thought Tottenham would get him out of all the big 6 teams. So, like, with our midfielders now, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, like these aren't good enough midfielders for the club. Like they're not physically imposing. They don't know how to break down an attack. They don't know how to pass it between the lines. It's that simple. It's that simple. We just need midfielders that are like Carricks. Like, we need
They
like
always know how to do it against Arsenal, man. Like, use like one of the blood. I call it the usual suspects. You guys, Fulham, Villa, Everton, a lot of the time, Newcastle now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how.
Well, I say Declan Rice, man. We keep telling them you're not playing for these guys no more. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause when you beat us 1-0, man, and the little man was getting in between the centre halves, I'm like, come on, man, Jesus Christ, Deckers. Like, but
Yeah.
how do you feel about that? I asked Tony the same thing as a West Ham fan because he gets a lot of stick, Deckers. I mean, what's your thought on that move?
I just thought, yeah, good luck sort of thing. Like, my whole thing was literally like, I don't think he's gonna. Like, I not even a disrespect. I didn't think he was going to win anything at your club. Like, I didn't understand it if it was like. To be fair, he didn't choose to move there necessarily. Like, full stop. It was a case of you paid the money. Like, you was the only team that was going to pay the money. Like, Man City bidded the exact same as you did, and we were like, well, we're not going to accept it from you. It's not. We're not going to choose who to accept it from. We want over 100. Like, everyone's like, oh, well, you didn't get your 150 million. Yeah, that's the point. So we can drive the price up. Because if we had said we wanted 100 million. And that was it. Everyone would have started off at like 75 and stuff like that. So like, it's common sense. But I just thought he did everything he could for the club, and we did everything we could for him. I knew he was going to leave in that season specifically. Everyone was worried like 2 years before. I was like, forget that. Like, it's going to be 1 year left, so we can get the most out of him, and we're still going to get our money. Because Rice ain't the kind of person to like throw his toys on a pram to leave on a free. He's not like Mbappe. He's not like that.
Yeah.
I think it's not a like online. You'll see either people call him a snake or a legend. I said he's neither, because the reason why I say he's neither is because you got to have like he did everything he could for the club, but your whole like prime at your club is not going to be at West Ham. We brought you up, sort of thing, but we set you up. We set you up to do things good. It's similar to not my era, but it's like a Joe Cole when he went to Chelsea or whatever.
Right.
Like, we've given you the leeway to go to another club, sort of thing. We're like, we're the layup sort of thing. We're the layup.
I used to play with Joe Cole, man. He's from Camden, isn't it? They used to call him Hurricane, but he was just all right. Do you know what I mean? With us, not. Do you know what I mean? To be honest, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. And then to see him go on and be some superstar, like, and the thing is, he was like, it's
definitely.
Like, where was that when he was younger? But he obviously turned out to be a legend. No, but I totally get it. And with Declan Rice, I feel like he's too nice. Do you know what I mean? That's why we say to him, like, you don't pay for them no more. Fuck's sake, like, I don't think he deserves to stick, and I think he's getting a hard time even with the Arsenal fans because of what Arteta's doing.
I feel like with our fans in real life, we give him stick to put him off. We don't hate him. Like, if you ask any West Ham fan in real life, they don't hate the guy. If you ask any West Ham fan online that hide behind profile pictures and stuff like that, they'll call him every name under the sun. But these lot don't go outside, so I don't really take their opinion serious. Like, they don't have any friends. Like, I can't lie, so I don't take their opinion serious.
Twitter's not a real place anyway, man. So I don't take anything that goes on over there. You know what I mean? Those guys are just bots, so I don't even know what to say. But no, I think that's fair, bro. I think that's fair. I was going through the end of season fixtures with Tone. You got a few tricky ones in there. How do you think you're gonna fare coming to the end of the season, man? How many points do you reckon you might pick up, or what's your thoughts on it?
We'd be lucky to get 4, bro. We'd be lucky to get 4. Yeah, generally, bro. We'd be lucky to get 4. Like, we just Spurs. Everyone says that though, but like, I reckon we don't. Like, we ain't beaten Spurs in 4 years at home.
Wow.
At home, we ain't beaten them in 4 years. We used to beat them at home all the time. Not all the time, but like every now and then. And Spurs fans think they're going to lose to us. But like, it's 16th versus 17th, so like it could go anywhere. And to be fair, their eyes will be on the second leg for the Bodo Glimt game. But at the same time, they've got more than chance of beat. We just drew to Southampton, so I ain't got confidence of beating anyone. I'll be real.
I'm doing my predictions, and I'm like, listen, I know West Ham's up and down, but they surely must beat Southampton, and it was bloody a draw. It's
funny. I predicted we wouldn't win, but people think I'm mad. People think I'm mad. In my match preview, I said where we will be the guy that make them equal the Derby County record, and that's exactly what we did. We drew 1-1, and like that. People think I'm mad when I predict this stuff, and people just think like you're being negative for the sake of it. I support West Ham. It's not. It's different from being a negative Arsenal fan or a negative Chelsea fan. Like it's the PTSD. But it's like it's a bit different from being a negative Arsenal fan, a negative Chelsea fan. Oh, we're not going to finish in top four. We're not going to win the league, bro. We're not going to beat Southampton. There's a different kind of negative. Like it's a different negative, bro. Like it's different to any negative. Like we're not Reading or anything, but at the same time, we're not great. We've never been great. So I've seen this too many times before. We are the gift that keeps on giving in this sense. Like
I feel like Arsenal's like that as well, man. You know, like if you're a young kid, like you come on 16, you're gonna score. You know, if you ain't picked up any points in a while, come to the Emirates. Like, you know,
yeah.
I've heard Tottenham fans say the same thing. So it's always nice to hear basically the same kind of gripes from other fans.
Yeah. Because every footballing fan's the same, but we just support different clubs.
Yeah.
Like we all think the same thing, and that's the thing with us. Like we've got Tottenham, we've got Man United, you got Forest on the top of my head. Like Forest will beat us. Man United, we never win at Man United. People can say it's the best opportunity to beat Man United, but it's every season it's the best opportunity to beat Man United. Amount of times we've gone to Old Trafford, it's like the best time to beat them, and we always approach the game wrong, and we always lose 1-0. We lost 3-0 there last season, for God's sake.
Like, out of the cup this year, like I'm sick of them, bro. I mean, they might even go and win the Europa in the shittest. I mean, I'm 40 years old, bro. Like this is the worst Man United side I've ever seen in my life, bro, and they're still doing better than my club.
Like they always find a way. They always find a way to win something, and like. That's just, to be fair, they've always kept some form of culture at their club by winning things, but like the whole culture of staying at the top and trying to be like the Real Madrid of England has stopped. That's what's their main problem. But we'll go to Man United and lose. Like we haven't won there since 2006, bro. Like, and I think I was like 3 years old then, bro. I'm 21 now, man. I'm turning 22 this year. Like last time we won there with Carlos Tevez scored, and then he moved to Man United after. Like, bro,
remember he coming in with Mascherano, bro, and I was like, "What's going on here?" Do you know what I mean? But they killed it, bro. Carlos Tevez, he was an absolute beast, bro. You know what I mean? But I actually thought, you know, you never know what can happen against United. I wasn't writing you guys off, but I weren't saying it was a win. I definitely thought you guys would beat Spurs. And Forest was the one I was looking at, like, yeah, but I need you guys to do me a favor because that's how bad our Premier League's been. We're looking over our fucking shot. I mean, even Man City, they could even come second, bro. You know what I mean?
It's mad,
bro. And it was all gonna get papered over not even if, bro, because the top gooners are already making excuses. We've gone to the semi-final. They're saying that's progress because it's one more than the quarters, bro. You know, this is how bad our fan base is at the moment, man. It's unbelievable. But yeah, like I said, I always thought that Forest will probably be the one that you lose, but I need you to do me a favor. I thought you could beat Spurs. I thought Man United was a toss-up. Is it just, I mean, does it even matter to you guys anymore, or is it just kind of, you know, end the stream Dave sort of thing?
Oh, it's been end the stream Dave vibes from early. For me, it's been end the stream Dave vibes from like game week 5. I was like, fuck this season.
Game week 5 is done.
Bro, I was legit like, just end the season now. Like, I was saying it in September, and people thought I was mad. What do you mean end the season? But like, I don't see us. We're not better than Bournemouth. We're not better than Fulham. We're not better than Brentford. We're not even better than these teams. Like, so how are we going to be better than other teams above them? How are we going to be better than teams above them? Like, we've got Brighton away tomorrow. I could not be bothered. Like, if I wasn't doing YouTube, I would have not. I'm not watching anymore.
Bro, I call the watch alongs community service when I got to do Arsenal because it's like paint watches Arsenal dry. It's that boring, bro. Honestly, I'd much rather do another game. So I totally get it, man. I totally get it. And that's what it feels like for us in the Premier League. But at the same time, like I said, as a fan, you know, I watch Crystal Palace. I'm watching Brentford. You know, 13. We've got more draws than wins this season. Do you know what I mean? We've got 12 wins and 13 draws. More draws than IKEA, bro. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. But I know that listen, I ripped my season off. I knew we weren't going to win it from like late December, but I rid it off after January. That was my last final hope. If we can get to January and get a few bodies over the line, we might be able to at least make it look a bit respectable. But once they done Ramadan in January, bro, I was like, it's done. Just end the stream, end the season. Like, what the fuck? If it weren't for this Champions League, there'd probably be a lot more meltdown on the internet. Do you know what I mean? Definitely. So yeah, I'm with you, man. But obviously, you know, we've come kind of more or less to the end of the. I ain't really got many more questions. Any kind of thing you got coming up, my guy? Anything we got to look forward to from you?
I've got the Brighton watch along tomorrow. I've got pro clubs at 11 as well. So double streaming. That's going to be interesting. as
Yeah.
always. And then yeah, I just probably got to upload on Sunday because I'm out all Sunday. Then I've got the show, a GVO show of Alfie on Monday,
Yeah.
and then we'll do watch alongs for the Champions League.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. And make sure you guys, especially on playback, make sure you watch out for the pro clubs. That's always a good stream. Always a brilliant stream. And listen, finally, we've managed to make it happen. Sorry that it's taken so long, but very happy to have you on the platform as always. Make sure you guys are going to subscribe to Mike's. Let's get him to 1K ASAP. It's been a little bit slow today, but I know you playback guys are good with me, so make sure you're going over, showing him some love, liking the stream. Big up Static. Let me just see, is the only new comment that's coming. Hey Views and Mics, keep up the good work for both of your channels. Big up, man. Make sure you're going over and subscribing to GVO Mics. My bro, thank you for coming on, man. It's been a blast. Hopefully we can do it again soon. Hold on. Views, Mics, I'll definitely watch this later. There you go, there you go. Make sure you're going to subscribe as well, man, please. Yeah, love for the love. And yeah, like I said, hopefully we can do it again soon. Thank you for coming on, my bro.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate every single time.
Yeah, big up, man. So this is Under the Lens. What I'll do is I'll clip up a little couple of clips here and there, get that to you over the next couple of days. And like I said, people, man, Under the Lens, GVO Mics, another one down. Have a good evening, everyone. Big up, man. Big up.
Big up.